What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we're going to be going over a video that I think is pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about if I could only have 3 guns, but in this case, I'm going to be limited to under $1,000. It was the highest recommended video on the previous video we did. We did a video on if I could only have 3 guns, and tons of you in the comments asked if I can do one under 1,000. So here we are. And if you guys have any other video ideas, you can spam them in the comment section. Now, it was actually pretty interesting to try to come up with 3 guns if I could only have 3 guns ever for under $1,000. Partly because 3 guns is a tough sell for me. I own a lot more than 3 and I love them all. And the second reason is because under 1,000 limits you more than you'd think it would, especially in some categories. So I think I picked my 3 and I think I'm pretty happy with them, but I am gonna add one honorable mention before we get to number 1. So I suppose let's get right into it here. And at number 3, we're gonna go the obvious choice and we're gonna pick the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. Now the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus Performance Center is what I picked in the previous video, and luckily it's under $1,000, so I got to pick it again. This is my go-to carry gun, the gun that I by far carry the most. I have an optics ready version and a version that is iron sights. And if I only had to pick one, probably pick the optics ready version just because I could take the optic off if I want to. The Shield Plus Performance Center is a 3-inch 9mm striker fired polymer frame pistol. The Performance Center version has 2 twin V-ports in the barrel, allowing a little bit less recoil, which is very nice on a Micro 9. And it has a little bit more aggressive texture than the standard version, but other than that, they're pretty much the same. I've switched out the sights on it. This has a Trijicon front with a blacked out rear, and then I'm running a Holosun EPS carry as an enclosed optic, which I like a lot. Again, the gun's around $500, $600, and the optic's around $300, so you can get the whole package, maybe even including the holster, under $1,000, which I think is an excellent choice. And if I could only go with one handgun, that would probably be it. The carry gun I carry every day, use every day. In a pinch, I could use it for home defense and maybe shooting on the range if I want to. So it is definitely a solid pick for me. Now, it's a very lightweight gun, around 20 ounces. It carries 10 rounds of 9mm, but I have 15 and 17 round mags for this that I can stick in there when I want to. I usually carry one in my pocket when I carry the gun, and I also carry a couple extra in my truck. So it's a fun gun to shoot overall, landing it as a solid spot for my do-it-all carry gun. Now, I think you guys probably knew I was going to choose that since I chose it on the last video, and it's probably my overall favorite handgun for daily use. So it's a pretty easy one to judge. Affordable, reliable, available with every holster type, unbelievably proven, and obviously my concealed carry gun, so it is at number 3. Now, getting into something more interesting would be number 2. And number 2 was probably the toughest choice on the list. In the previous list, I actually picked a BCM AR-15, which is pretty easy to do because BCM is around $1,500 to $1,700, depending on how you kit it out. And it's one of the most durable, reliable AR-15s on the market. I'm still going to pick an AR-15, but trying to find one with all the features that I wanted under $1,000 was very difficult. The first route I thought about going was the cop-out. I thought about building one. And I thought, man, that would be the perfect rifle. However, it would be very difficult for you guys to repeat. So I was just going to go off the top of my head and tell you about what I was going to build. I was basically going to go with a Palmetto parts kit, lower, and maybe the upper receiver. And I was probably going to pick a Criterion 14.5-inch barrel with a Flow 5.56 muzzle device on it so I could use my suppressor. It was difficult to get everything I wanted under $1,000, and honestly, a build, again, is sort of a cop-out. So then I thought about going the Watchtower route. I thought about going the Watchtower AR-15 that we had on the channel a few months ago. Really, really cool system, mid-length gas system with an M-LOK rail, 16-inch barrel, gas perfectly, great trigger, and right under $1,000. But sadly, Watchtower closed up shop, and I can't really recommend a gun from a gun company that's out of business. So in third place, we have the Ruger 5.56. Cool. Now the Ruger 5.56 here is kitted out a little bit differently. I have the Wooks furniture on it, although for a do-it-all rifle, I would not have this. I actually really love this wood furniture. However, I don't think it's as durable long-term as I would want for like a rifle I would use for hunting, competitive shooting, and self-defense, and you know, worst case scenario, WROL. I think a 16-inch Ruger 5.56 is a great choice, but I would keep the standard M-LOK rail with the came with the gun. I would probably add a Magpul XL grip and a BCM stock. Everything else I could pretty much keep stock. If I had a little extra money, maybe I'd throw a Geissele trigger in it. But I think the Ruger 5.56, as far as the base rifle goes, is probably the best rifle for me under $1,000. You can see them anywhere from $600 to $800. They have basic features out of the box, so it leaves a little room for upgrading. I think it's as good or better than any other rifle. Another honorable mention would be the Smith & Wesson Sport. Number one, I didn't want to add two Smith & Wessons on the list. And number two, I think the Ruger was just a hair more accurate overall in the long range.
Hit. 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 Hit.
Well, that's fun. And if you're only gonna have one rifle, 16 inches is a really good choice for that because it allows you to spin off the muzzle device, put on a suppressor if you want, put on a brake if you want, put on different flash hiders, which gives you a lot of options. Also, a 16 inch is small enough to fight with indoors and large enough to shoot long distance outside. So for a one gun fits all, a 16 inch is a really, really good choice. The Ruger 5.56 in our testing, we've got about 1,000 through it right now, 100% reliable, extremely accurate out to 400 yards, in a very, very smooth shooter as well. Mine actually came with a mid-length gas system, which I really prefer over the standard carbine length gas system. Gives you a smoother profile when you actually shoot the gun. And it did come with a 13-inch M-LOK rail, which allowed me to put a vertical grip, a light, and lots of other things on it if I want to. As far as the optic goes, I know that's not in the question, but I'd for sure run a Trijicon MRO with a Surefire Scout Light. Overall, I think the Ruger 5.56 is a wonderful choice for an under $1,000 rifle. Now I'm going to list a few honorable mentions. First off, I did mention the two rifles that I could choose aside from this, but if I was going to choose a shotgun, I'd probably go with the Beretta Patrol, but I'm not going to go with the shotgun. And the reason why is because in my neck of the woods, I could just simply get a different upper for deer hunting, and if I wanted to shoot small game, I'm a pretty good shot. I could probably do it with a handgun. Now that being said, one thing I do more than hunting is I do a decent amount of fast pistol shooting. That's kind of what I do. I used to be a USPSA guy. I haven't done it lately because we moved last year, but I do like shooting sports, and I like them with 9mm handguns. And my go-to choice for a USPSA gun for the last decade has been a CZ Shadow. Luckily for me, that's under $1,000, so it is in fact number one. The CZ Shadow 2, in fact, is right around a G, and I think it's the best G you could spend on a handgun. Double single action pistol with a very, very good trigger, a very low slide mass with a thick dust cover on the end, and wonderful accuracy, reliability, and speed. Not only would it be great for a competition gun for me personally under $1,000, but I could also use it to show off with my friends. I could have fun on the range. It would certainly be the gun out of the three of these that I would probably shoot the most. I like to shoot big, fast handguns, and in which case this one is one of my personal favorites. Now, it would be a great gun for competition, but it would also be a good gun for self-defense and home defense as well. Very reliable, very accurate, and a solid capacity. With my base plates on these, I get about 22 rounds per magazine, so you can do a lot of work with that type of gun. And I think it's definitely the most proven handgun that I own, so I think it would be a really easy pick. Now for the first video, I went with a comped red dotted 2011, and basically the best version of that go fast gun that you can get under $1,000 is in fact the Shadow 2. You could also save up some money and later get it ported, which I did from Cajun Gun Works, so you could have pretty similar to the same 2011 package with an upgraded CZ Shadow 2. So as far as under $1,000, I think it's the best you can do. Some honorable mentions for that would be like the PDP Pro X or maybe the M&P Carry Comp. I like those guns a lot, but I like the Shadow 2 a little bit more, and it puts me in carry optics if I ever want to shoot competition again, so the Shadow 2 is a solid choice. 4.8 inch barrel, very, very low slide mass because of the internal slide rails, and it has just a set of ergonomics that I absolutely love. My hand fits in the gun great, my hand will fit in the trigger guard in the winter, even if I'm wearing gloves, and just overall, it's been my go-to gun for many, many years, along with the M&P Shield, so they're easy picks for my two choices. Really, the only tough choice on this list would have been the AR, and if I'm going with the stock gun, again, I'm going with the Ruger 556, but in all reality, if I was really down to the wire and I had to pick a gun under 1,000, probably just build my own. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.